Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. You already know it's that time. I missed you all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, my family. I'm gonna take them out. Just not yet. We gonna bring them in. We gonna bring them in, but not yet, not yet, not yet. Good morning, everyone. It's so great that you could join us. It is another episode of Health is Wealth. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. I host this wonderful programming every fourth Saturday of the month for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We are broadcasting live today from New York City. I'm so grateful to be out here with my Tribe Tokes family and my Canadiva family. If you're ever in New York City, please, you have to come by Work and Roll, a female-owned WeWork space that lets you consume, medicate while you get stuff done, okay? So make sure when you're in New York City, you stop by Work and Roll and tell them that Nicole from M4MM sent you. And so it's an amazing facility. It really is. It's the future of cannabis, right? Very soon in Las Vegas, Nevada, when you come visit Las Vegas, you're going to be able to visit consumption lounges, something similar to this space. And so we're really excited to see what the market brings, the future of cannabis consumption, the future of medicating in public and in social spaces. So it's a really cool concept. So make sure when you're in New York City, come to Work and Roll. But we're going to go head off and kick off this show. I'm not going to waste too much time because we got a thing to do today. I'm going to be here at Work and Roll celebrating the Pride event. It's Pride tomorrow here in New York City. But today, we are going to be focusing on cannabidiol. If you're not familiar with cannabidiol, you should be. It is the long word that means CBD, right? And most people have been seeing CBD everywhere. It's exploding all over the marketplace. Why is that? Since 2018, the Hemp Act passed in the Farm Bill. And what that did was it descheduled CBD. It separated just that cannabinoid and said that it was better than all the other cannabinoids and it deserved to be descheduled. And that's why you see CBD in your coffee shop, on Amazon, everywhere, right? And so today I said, I want to highlight some of our members that are doing amazing things with their own brand. We're going to be doing this every so often here on Health is Wealth and our other programming with Minorities for Medical Marijuana, featuring some of our amazing members. And so today I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Christina Stafford Mims, welcome, welcome, welcome to Health is Wealth. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about your business, Red Plug. So please tell us who you are and tell us more about Red Plug, please. Thanks for being here, Christina. Oh, we can't hear you. No, not yet. I think I hear something. You talking? Hello? Oh, no, we can't hear you, Christina. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, technical issues. Okay. Okay. Check your microphone again. Check your mic. I will go on with Keith. Keith, please. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you are live broadcasting from, and tell us a little bit about Piedmont Hemp Co., please.
All right, thanks, Nicole and Christina. Hey, world, I'm Keith Parker. I'm the owner of Piedmont Hemp Company with my lovely wife, Tasha. And we are live today from the Black American market. This is our first brick and mortar display. Our products are online, but we wanted to go live right here at the Potomac Mills Mall today to support this event. And what is Piedmont Hemp Company about? We're about health and wellness. We completely understand how this plant has been used, and as a multi-combat veteran that had multiple ailments, been able to understand this plant and how CBD is used throughout the body. And I've been able to be reduced from over 12 medications just from doing the plant. So from this, we have our wellness and health products that we make, we hand curate just for you.
Amazing, amazing, Keith. I will tell you right now, one of my favorite products that Piedmont Hemp Company makes, you can't even see the label anymore because it's so, it is so, it is so worn off. But
There
if
we
you could
go.
see, if you could see, I wear I take it everywhere. There it is. There it is. It is his hand sanitizer. It smells amazing. Every time I spray it, somebody is like, "What is that?" So it's fantastic. It has hemp oil in it, so it doesn't dry out the skin. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Keith. I'm
Thank
so
you.
honored that you decided to broadcast live today from your store. Congratulations. That's
Oh yeah.
awesome.
When it
Congratulations to you and
do it,
Tanya.
we're gonna do first class.
That is dope. That is really, really cool. So thanks so much. I'll have to get a tour later. We'll have to give us a tour later.
All right.
Christina, you back? You there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Speak up just a little bit more so we can hear you clear. Turn that
Yes,
volume up for us.
that thing is on. Let me get it up. Can you hear me better now?
Yes,
All right,
there
then
you
let's
go,
get in
sis.
here. Yeah,
Live.
all
That's
right,
what's up.
okay. Well,
So,
thank you for having me
of
on. I'm
course,
Christina.
welcome.
I'm
Introduce
with
yourself.
Red Plug LLC. I'm a Louisiana-based business. I am originally from Ringo, Louisiana, and now we are branching out into Dallas, Texas. With
Love it.
Red Plug, it's all about daring to be in tune and intentional with yourself. I have a product. It's in hair oil, CBD based hair oil. That was birth. God gave me a dream in 2020, and I stepped out on faith with the dream. As you were fanning CBD, helped me with menopause. But overall, Red Plug is truly it's a solution for pain. It's a solution for what you are in need of. Honestly, if you have just the hair oil, you have all about education and letting you it's something else out there for you than just to say you're going to Western medication and not saying anything wrong with it, but just to give you just a natural holistic care for yourself. So that's what Red Plug
Absolutely.
is all about.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm so grateful that you reached out. I'm grateful that I got an opportunity to hear your story and learn more about Red Plug. So, question for both of you. Keith, I know that I want to know and I want to learn more about your backstory. So, what drew you to cannabis? Everybody has a story. Everybody knows that it's either someone that they love or care about or themselves that needed cannabis as medicine. And somehow that helped them to find their way towards using the plant. So, can you give us a little bit of backstory about Piedmont Hemp Co. and how you came to find and found this company with your wife?
Absolutely. So our journey is probably familiar that you've heard in many southern areas. We had this farm that our grandfather bought in 1935. He couldn't read or write, and when the grandfather died, so did the farm. So all the aunts and uncles, they're no longer here. And before my father left, he said, Keith, I need you to fix it. This farm used to feed the community and put products in the national supply chain, and it's broken. And so shortly after that, I saw the Sanjay Gupta series. I didn't know anything about hemp, CBD. And then in
Mm,
2015, I got an executive coach to help me figure this thing out. And so we're one of the first African Americans that was licensed to grow industrial hemp in 2017. And this is during a time where you couldn't buy American seed. You had to work with a consortium of people to be able to get seed to even grow. While we weren't successful, but something happened after that. My health was continuing to deteriorate. I was losing organ functionality. My dad had cancer, and that's when I went into some deep study about what this plant can actually do. It actually started reducing the cancer tumors in my dad's kidney, and me with severe PTSD, severe anxiety, and depression. Then it was able to help alter my mood, and therefore I knew I was on to something. And from there, we just went into detailed research, and every product that we market is something that I've used, and now it's for the community.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm telling you, I hear stories all the time as a patient and advocate myself, of course. But I'm always amazed at how this plant works in so many different ways for so many different people. I love that you're sharing your story. It's important, folks, for you all to share your stories. People ask me all the time, how do I get involved? How do I start? Where do I start? Find
Yeah,
your why.
there
Find
you
your
go.
why, and then you're going to find your way. That's what I
Yeah,
always say. Find your why, and then you're going to find your way, because the plant is going to talk to you. It will literally, energetically,
Mm,
spiritually, it will connect to you, and it will help you find your way in this space. It's what it's all about. It's what the plant is about. So, Christina, please tell us how you found your way to the plant.
well, I found my way. It found me, put it like that. God gave me a dream in 2020. He gave it to me for about 2 months. The first month, I would wake up and tell my husband, baby, I think I'm supposed to do something with edibles or something with cannabis. And he, he'd be like, just kind of laugh about it. And that went on for about a month. Then the second month, God wake me up around the same time every night. And so finally, I'm like, let me get up and start researching and studying what is this. So I did. I went to work. I would be up from maybe 1, 2 to almost 5 in the morning, and then had to get up and go to work. But I was just so in tune in trying to figure out. So it became more of research and a passion to me. So once I started studying and kind of learning the difference between CBD, these different plants, THC and things, I stepped out on faith and I bought a brand, a woman-owned brand in Louisiana, and I tried CBD. And it changed my life for about the first week. The first week, I didn't even realize I was feeling better until I was feeling better. I'm like, wait a minute now. I ain't flashed.
okay.
I
Yeah,
ain't done this. I ain't done none of that. So I'm like, okay. And I literally was like, I feel better. It was like my analogy was, it was like when you're putting a puzzle together and
yeah,
you missing a piece, and the
And
piece started plugging in. So I was like,
hey,
oh,
there you
boy,
go.
this
hey,
there. It was just like you said, God was connecting me, and I just was like wanting more to learn more. So I just kept going, and then I had a thought. I looked down at my nails, and I'm like, my nails is growing.
Nice.
And the Spirit told me
hey,
this. He
somebody now.
said, what about your hair? And whenever that hit me, whenever I heard the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, what about your hair? It was on and popping in. So I just kept going, and I just started educating myself, going to conferences. I started my business, and look at here, I stepped out on faith in 2021 and left the corporate world. I was in mental health for almost 10 years. So here I am with Red Plug, and we're going forward. That's all I can say.
I love it. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing your story. You
Welcome.
know, what's interesting is both of you said something very similar. It, it just kept coming to you in your psyche, and that's what was happening, right? It was the spirit was talking to you in your psyche, in your subconscious mind, in your dreams. Okay,
Absolutely.
telling you about your connection to this plant. Your ancestors talking to you, Keith. Reminding you how important it is that this plant and using the land and understanding how powerful that is. And so, there's a reason that they call it a psychoactive drug, right?
Yeah,
Psychoactive.
there
There's
you
a
go.
reason that they call them psychedelics, right? There's a
Right.
reason, because those medicines, those plant medicines, speak directly to your psyche. It is the
There you
way
go.
that it operates, the science of how those plants operate in your body. It opens up your mind, it opens up your third eye. You've heard all of these
Freedom.
connections to how that plant works. And it's amazing that you were both brought to the plant in different ways. Everybody's story is different. And so I remind you again, folks, if you are looking to get into the space, Find your why and you will find your way. So, okay,
Mm,
you all both have different names, okay? And this is important. I don't get too much into business when I'm doing this show. I really love focusing on our health and wellness and wealth. But I also want to understand why you chose the name, because everybody's name is important to them. It's why they chose to go with that brand and that name.
okay.
Keith, you have hemp in your name. And can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the challenges that might have come along with using hemp or cannabis in the name of your actual brand? What challenges have you encountered by using that name specifically?
How many hours do I have?
You're gonna have to sum it up in about 2 minutes for us.
Right. The
Give us
challenge
your
is,
top three. Yeah.
yeah. So the challenges were immediate because when we established our name, it was actually before the 2019 Farm Bill had removed hemp from the Controlled Substances Act. So when we started, while we were able to get a business name in it, no bank has been able to touch us or even consider us even able to have a bank account. But let me tell you what Piedmont Hemp is about. Because history tells us that this plant started in the Himalayas originally, and it came down into the foothills. Well, the foothills of all mountain ranges called Piedmont. And so Piedmont hemp, meaning foothills of the mountains, is where they have the best nutrients and the best way this plant has really able to cultivate over over thousands of years. So Piedmont Hemp Company basically is in our name. They said we're going to operate at the foothill of every mountain, and there's a mountain range in every country. So therefore, hemp until this year, no bank would allow us to even have a bank account. It's until we started working with M4MM and other advocacy groups that bank owners like, you know what, you're with a credible group, we'll help you. So just this year, after being denied over 30 times, we couldn't have a bank account. Even our investment brokerage even told us that because we were in the business that we can no longer invest with that brokerage. So it's been a tremendous amount of challenges. We were initially on Amazon and went through the whole process to get on Amazon with their help, but Amazon wouldn't allow our products under Piedmont Hemp Company, which is a branded store that they help us brand.
Right.
So we were before legislation, and therefore we've had to pivot almost every 3 to 4 months since 2019 as the landscape has changed. But the beautiful thing about today, the landscape has changed. Those that are interested in coming to this business, it's more receptive now. Industries are starting to listen to us, and through forums like this, Nicole, is where we can not only educate about our businesses, but how we can do this industry the proper way.
That's right. That's right, Keith. Thank you for sharing that because, folks, when you're out here, once you find your why and you're finding your way, you need to keep that in mind. You need to remember that my first brand was Cannabis Connection World. I knew that cannabis connected the world, and that's why how I came up with it. I had a podcast, and that was what I was building my brand off of, educating and helping our people, humans, understand how this plant connects us all. And then I realized 2 years in, I'm not going to be able to have a bank account. This is for me watching my mentors. This is for me watching Roz, watching other Dashita Dawson, the weed head. You can't get a bank account with it with a name called the weed head. And so
That's
I
right.
knew that I was going to have to bring cannabis out of it eventually as I got more serious about my business. And Purple Plant Magic evolved a few years later, and that's the brand that I'm going with. And so it's interesting, Christina, that you used Red Plug. Doesn't say anything about hemp, CBD. What? Tell us why you felt like Red Plug described your brand the best and why you chose that name.
For me, red plug, for one, red is one of my favorite colors. But in red is just showing you that you're being in tune. When you see red, you see a stop sign, you see a red light. What you do, you stop because it show you that you in tune and intentional with something. You have to be alert with it. If you bleed, you stop and you check on yourself, right? So that's where the red come in from. And plus, for me, I give everything glory to God because I look and I think about that also, like the blood that was shed for us. You know what I'm saying? So
Come
wide
on.
red, and the plug part comes in because it's plugging you into what you need, just like that puzzle piece. You getting plugged in. You being so in tune with yourself that you don't even
That's right.
you like you said, you don't even know what to do because you so in tune, but you know to be
Yes.
able to help somebody else. So that's where
Hey,
come in from.
I
And
love
even
it.
for me, though, I have in my, I'm also a hemp farm license in Louisiana, and I do it
Beautiful.
is Red Plug Hemp Farms.
Love it.
But for me, I was able to get a bank account through Chase with that. But I also was told the same thing that hey, you needed to remove hemp, and so out of Red Plug Farms, and I kind of thought about doing that, but I hesitated, and I'm like, you know what? I did not put myself in this space. And if it's needed for me to change it, I will change it. But since I did a bank account, I left it at there. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to try to make it be something what it is or make it be something that is not. So that's how that went. Because my story is similar to what Keith is. Where my farm is located, it is also ancestry land. And God pulled and called us to that land as well. And just thankful
Mm.
for it. So, I just look at that part is with all the different laws and everything that's changing, it will have you pivoting in a circle,
Right.
it will have you going
Mhm.
around and around. And so what
Mhm.
I try not to do is because stuff like that, it will cause you to unrest and have worry. And I try not to even focus on it. What I try to focus on is just continuing to build the brand, to build Red Plug, to show you and educate you, hey, there is another way. These products here, they help me. If I know my testimony and what they brought me from, it can definitely bring you from it as well. So that's where that's more so about Red Plug.
And that's amazing. I'm sorry. Again, that's amazing. Thank you, Christina, for sharing that story. It's so important that we're doing the work of our ancestors. It's why I was drawn to this plant. My father was a Rasta, and
Yeah.
he was the first adult that I consumed cannabis with when I was in high school. And and,
Right.
and I just knew how important it was to my culture, being West Indian American, my first generation West Indian American, and to the groups of and the tribes of Rastafarian communities that have sacrificed so much for people to have this plant and have access to it. And so I'm grateful that like our comment here says, it has never harmed anyone. That's right. And the more
Correct.
that we learn about it, and the reason I really wanted to highlight these CBD and hemp brands today is because we talk a lot about cannabis. We don't talk a lot about hemp because I leave that
Right.
to my brother Stanley, who does Sow the Land, which is
Yeah.
the first time I interviewed and got to listen to an interview with Keith on it. But it's important for us to understand that this plant is a whole plant.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody refers me or asks me, what kind of product do I recommend? Always whole plant, because
Right.
whole plant is where it's at. Whole plant is the whole medicine. And utilizing it is so important for the body, for our endocannabinoid system, and
Right.
understanding what form of this plant works best for you is also important. So we have to remember to make sure that we're highlighting. I love to see our Black owned
Yeah.
brands. Make sure that you all really quick, Christina and Keith. I'm so sorry if you could put in the private chat your Instagram. Say follow me at, and so I can put it on our tag at the bottom of our screen here. So make sure how to follow you. And if you'd like to, also your website, if that's an easy way to get a hold of you. Before we go today, I want to make sure everybody has your information. So back to Christina. I know we spoke briefly about how you kind of found your way to this space. Could you
Mhm.
tell us really quick that I know that it might not have been hemp initially. A lot of people are in that boat right now. And can you tell us more about how you transition, let's say, from a legacy space to a legal space, and what that kind of looked like for you?
For me, how I transitioned, I mean, because I wanted to do everything correctly. I wanted to come out of the backspace of it. I didn't want that. I knew that if it came to me in this kind of in the atmosphere that it needed to come out. I didn't want to hide anything. So for me, once I learned about like different licenses, what you can hold, and then being blessed with land, I truly just started reaching out to different people, especially in Louisiana space. I started talking to different farmers, calling up people. One of the brands that I first started with was called Cypress Hemp, and they are based out of Louisiana and Virginia. So I started reaching out to them, started asking questions, and just kind of seeing where I could fit in at. And some people would give me answers to say, oh, and some people will say this, but I really had latched on to a farmer couple in Louisiana who's gotten out of the business since then because their children didn't want to be in hemp. And so you have nobody really cares about hemp. That's what I always would hear. I would go visit dispensary talk, but everybody really wanted to focus on THC. And hey, I'm for THC too, not to doubt it, because it do what it do too.
Right.
At the same time, for some people who see THC, not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, but to know the different strands and different things of it. So I just really started educating, just going to conferences, talking to different scientists, just seeing a bigger picture of it. And that's what I started seeing. I'm like, it's bigger than just Red Plug. It's bigger than my brand. You know what I'm saying? The brand itself gonna speak for itself, but you as a person, it's bigger than me. Like I really like, even with my husband, just the things that he experienced in life growing up and coming up. So it got so big. It's like, if he went through this, think about how many other men and women went through just adversity, and trying to face something and get through something based on a plant that some people facing jail time before for weed.
Yes.
You hear me?
There's a brother in Louisiana, our Angola prison right now, serving a life sentence for cannabis right now in Louisiana.
You go and test now. You go test for what that was back then. It literally probably was something that you pulling up out of your garden. You know what I'm saying? From the front lawn, because nobody really understood anything. So that's really how it came for me to just really hone in so deeply, because for one, I had somebody who really suffered behind this, who lost behind this, who shed tears behind this plan. So for me to be able to say, you know what, I don't want him or myself or nobody else to feel that way ever behind something that, for one, that it's a seed. Seed, a
seed that heals, a seed that feeds, a seed that shelters, a seed, a plant. That's it.
And you go and you think about this. Go to Genesis 1, when he formed all the herbs and all the plants. You can't what was formed, not even by man. So you didn't jump. This seed was already planned. It was already designed for a purpose. So that's for me where it truly came from, because I started seeing things in a different light. When I lived in the mental health space, I had nothing to do with cannabis. I really thought this was like a chemical at one point in my life. I had nothing to do with it. I tried it, and I remember the first time getting high, I thought I was cone head. I'm telling you, my head ain't me so bad, but I had another experience, and then God brought it to me at the right time in the right way, so that I can understand to say, hey, but just being in the mental health field, and that's all you will see, were people who were, in hospitals and they had cannabis abuse. That was their main thing. Then they had other drugs, but they would always say they are cannabis abuser. But now it's like, they really wasn't abusing. They were only using it based on their environment.
They were self-medicating is what they were doing. They were using the best tools that they had at their dispense to actually self-medicate, literally self-medicate. The trauma that you experience being a person of color in this country is enough to want to be able to self-medicate in some way. It's why they've got liquor stores on every corner in our neighborhoods, because they know that they putting us through hell, right? And so they demonized and criminalized this plant almost 100 years ago to keep us away from that, because that's not going to kill us. The alcohol will, and cigarettes will, but that the plant won't. It'll wake us up. It'll wake us up to that bullshit. So I am so grateful that both of you could join us today, because this has been an amazing conversation about making sure to find your way. You find your reason, find your why, and then finding your way into this space. Okay. I want to make sure that people understand that your path to finding hemp might have gone through cannabis in a way. And Keith, you have a similar story, medicinal wise, that touches, or do you have a testimony about? Because I know you got a bomb pain cream, okay, for the feet. Okay, good. So I know your wife helped you to develop this pain cream because obviously us women wearing heels all day long,
Uh,
it's hard on us. And so, can you kind of give us a little testimony and background about how you came up with that product?
Um, so actually yes. So the very first product that we created was ST Evolution Daily Moisturizer, and that was named after my father. His middle name was ST. So as we made this, we're trying out in the neighborhood, see if people would like if they would like it. What was coming back was that the folks that raised us in the neighborhood, and they were like, "Hey, it's really helped me out with my arthritis," and I was like, this is for moisturizing," and it kept coming. So I found out like, oh, let's look deeper in these properties into these herbs that we're using because the Piedmont Hemp Company is more than just a plant. We use an ancient Kemetic philosophy of how they use herbs and cannabis going way back. And so in our ingredients, we use ashwagandha, we use Egyptian calendula, we use uh, beeswax from African American bee farmers in local counties. And so when we infuse those with the ingredients, now what comes out is like a kind of like a superpower type of ointment. So because they were referring that the moisturizer was helping them with their symptoms, then I went back into the lab and like, well, what other herbs and spices out here could help even improve that? And we've researched the arnica and the ashwagandha, and so the pain balm evolved. The daily moisturizer evolved into the pain balm, which is our number one selling product. Now, here it is. The pain balm, which our number one selling product, is with hemp seed oil. And so we found folks that had debilitating diseases, lupus, different types of muscular sclerosis. And so they say, hey, you got anything stronger? So then that's when we put our full spectrum extract into it with neem oil. And now people with debilitating disease are like, hey, this stuff really works. To make that even better, we tried out our hemp seed oil and try to break down the barrier of hemp. We leveraged a high school in Oakton High School in Virginia, right? And we got their track team to adopt our product and to tell us how it worked. That became so well that now we're going to be sponsoring the Virginia State University women's tennis team in the fall with our pain bomb. So,
Oh,
this
hey, pew,
ancient
pew, pew,
Kemetic
pew.
medicine.
I don't have sound effects here. Pew, 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 pew. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
Congratulations.
dope.
it's trying to
That's
let
dope.
everybody know that the plant is for health and wellness, right?
Mm.
The CBD opens up the areas of our immune system to help us with problems, right? But you can do that by having a pre roll. You can do that by having a tincture. But guess what? Your largest organ is your skin. So we just develop ways to get the same product, the same full spectrum product, just through a different means. It's for health and wellness. So
I
this
love
is
it.
just the beginning. And Nicole, you even saw we took an extension of this where we're now letting people understand that you can now create leverage hemp to also come up with biofuel.
Yep,
The tip
that's
of the
right. That's
but
right.
uh,
So, and thank you. Congratulations again, Keith. That is amazing. Congratulations. Part of this work, y'all, what M4MM does, yes, we love being in the community. We love our education. We love making sure our people are prepared to take on this $1 billion legal global industry. It's why we have 27 chapters domestically, why we're in 5 countries internationally. But the real work gets done at the lobbying and legislative session at level. That's where it gets done locally
yeah,
and
absolutely.
federally. We have to understand how important it is to show up. That's half the
Yeah,
battle is showing up. And because
yeah,
Keith continues to show up in his community, making sure he's at all of the events that are happening around hemp and cannabis and otherwise, he's showing up on Capitol Hill making sure that he's letting legislators know there are alternatives to using this plant that they haven't even thought of yet, because he's making the way for more hemp companies to come in and be a part of the biofuel industry. Come on. And the science is there, the research is there. And so it's important for people, hemp farmers. People ask me all the time, how do I get started? I want to grow. I want to be a cultivator. I'm like, do you have land? No. I'm like, well, God is not making any more land. So if you don't have land, that's what you need to be looking into. And then for y'all families who do have land that's just sitting around because everybody's fighting over it, nobody really wants to farm it, y'all need to be doing something with that. There's room and opportunity in this hemp space. Everybody wants to grow weed. Everybody wants to get a license to grow and cultivate weed, but nobody's thinking about hemp. And it's so important to understand that hemp is the future. Hemp can replace plastic. Hemp can build a whole house. Hemp could put fuel in the car, could build that same car. The first T model car was run off of hemp fuel, built off of hemp fiber. Come on now. So we have to understand how important it is to remember and not forget about our hemp, because it is more valuable than cannabis with high THC. So really quick, before we go, y'all, we got about 7 more minutes because I gotta hop into this event. But we've been dropping some really juicy stuff here, and I want to make sure that everybody is following you all. Make sure that you are following Christina at Red Plug LLC. Make sure you know how to get in touch with them. Make sure you're following Keith at Piedmont Hemp Co. So before we go, can you share with our family what is the future for your brand? Where are the next steps for you in this space? Keith, you've already given us a little sample of what's coming up next for you. I know you got some more to talk about too, but Christina, can you share with us, what is the evolution of Red Plug? Where do you see yourself in about 3 to 5 years?
International.
Yeah.
I do. And even like I have my hair oil is CBD, and then I have THC pain cream as well. And I also see that going global, honestly. Like Keith said in the school platform, I go and think about, like, I want my cream in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? I joked a while back, and I'm like, LeBron James, you need some Red Plug. You know what I'm saying? For your edge, for that ball, like literally, because my hair oil is in a shop in California, and that was from a man who tried it, but I see it going global. I see it being in shops. I see it being in stores. I just see it. Like, I don't even want to limit it, because it's not limited to anybody. It's age-wise, from baby to 99 and above, So, but I see Red Plug, the future of it being global, international, truly going in different areas and being talked about, just about how, especially us women, we stress and our hair come out. We have menopause and different things of that nature, things that's underlying that a lot of people don't realize that affects your scalp, your hair, stress, alopecia, things of that nature. So I see it actually truly being done, used in studies and things of that nature, because right now CBD does help with the hair follicles. There are studies about how CBD will grow back your hair from alopecia and things of that. You have stress-induced bald spots, things of that nature. I was bald around my edges. I didn't have any hair, and God gave me that dream and gave me that recipe that I put together for this hair oil and grease, and it grew my hair back. And I have testimonies of other men and women that have shown me, hey, it grew my hair back as well. Women who were just, starting locks and different things, and their dreads is down their back. My husband's dreads, just his scalp it was used to just be dry, but now he can use this oil, and hey, it will just shake it back. So just seeing Red Plug and going beyond Red Plug, I definitely see that, to see the farm and bridging gaps back together, because hemp does bridge a gap. Like you said, it does for fuel, for plastic. It tripped me out whenever I seen hemp. You can make floors with hemp. So I'm like, I don't want to limit myself to one thing. So the possibilities in it are, beyond our imagination and expectation. So that's truly what I would say, what I see with Red Plug.
That's amazing, Christina. That's amazing. And you will see that. You got to speak, manifest it, sis. We gonna see
Yes,
Red Plug
Oh,
International, okay?
that's it. Yes,
I love it. You gotta would definitely I for the first time in my life, honestly, I'm losing hair from stress. I've
right.
been very busy since the beginning of the year, and it's the first time I've ever had like patches of my hair. And so I'm very interested in using this oil, this serum. I would love to try it. So let's
yes.
talk about that for sure.
Okay.
But Keith, tell us, besides this new, you come from research and science, you understand it as an engineer. And so it's so important, folks, for us to have research about this plant. I don't think you understand how important it is. It's one of the excuses that our elected officials use all the time. Oh, there's not enough research. Oh, there's not enough research. We are the research. And
Yeah.
so it's important for people to come out of their cannabis closets and start really talking about how they utilize cannabis.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed of it. It's okay if you use it to go to sleep. Sure. It's okay if you use it to not feel stressed anymore. It's okay. But we are in an era right now where taking care of yourself is important. Taking care of yourself is sexy. Okay.
Yeah.
Putting a bunch of junk in your body, that's not sexy. That's not cool
Right.
anymore. It's not. And so these brands and these products, make sure that you understand how you can learn more about them. Make sure you're following them. Okay. So Keith, yeah, share with us before we go. How and where do you see Piedmont Hemp Co. in the next 3 to 5 years?
So I'm gonna give it to this. It's in our calling from the beginning. From the
Mm.
beginning, when we got started in 2017, it was about having vertical integration from seed to customer. So what's going to be rolling out in 2024, we're getting close to the end of our design, is the vertical, what we call our horticulture chambers to grow high quality CBD plants. They're mobile. We can now, with the controlling the environmental and also and also having technology integrated, we're now able to have 300 square feet almost achieve the yield of 2 acres. And these are stackable containers that are configured. You roll them up, you plug them in with electricity, with water, and off they go. It is the future, right? It is the future where we can grow vertical. So what Piedmont Hemp Company is doing, and not only just understanding the other peripherals like biofuel, but climate change is going to affect outdoor grows. We're on the East Coast. We already pitched a pilot to Baltimore with the community activists, and we're going to start
Yes.
CBD grows in the urban and suburban areas, and we're going to tie in middle school, high school, and universities. That's what
I
we're going
love it.
to.
I love it, Keith. I love it so much. Well, and that is exactly where you're going to go and grow too. And so we're honored to be a part of that journey, folks. If you have been thinking about how am I going to get into this space, if you have been thinking about I want to be a member, this is why. Keith mentioned earlier becoming a member with M4MM helped him to get banking, helped him
There
to
you
have a better understanding and a better leverage with businesses and financial institutions because of his affiliation with M4MM. This year, we're celebrating 7 years. Last month,
there you go.
we
Congratulations.
celebrated 7 years doing this work. We've got 10 national programs. We are here to serve you. As our family, as our community, we continue to build and grow. If you're looking to have be a state director, please let us know because we only in 27 states. We try to be in all 50. It doesn't
There you go.
matter if your state doesn't have a program yet. It doesn't matter if your state is not legal yet because it's coming. Okay,
Yes.
it's coming. Maybe not for Iowa. Maybe Iowa still don't allow CBD or hemp. There's a few states that are still like, we're not fooling with it. That's fine. Because guess what? Their people just drive to the closest state to get what they need to get. Because everybody is consuming cannabis these days. They might not tell you and they might not talk about it, but they are. And so again, but before we leave, I just want to make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with you guys. Thank you so much again for being on the show. Christina, what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Right now, you can get in touch with me on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. My website is being redone and rebranded, so that should be up and going by next week at redplug.com. So Red Plug LLC.
How you get in touch? That's right. And then Keith, how we get in touch with you?
All right. So we are as well. We're rebranding all our social media, but you can always reach us at Piedmont Hemp Co. is our website, and also our social media handle is Piedmont Hemp Co. If you're in the Virginia area, if you're in the DMV, come down to the Black American Market where we have our products on display at the Potomac Mills Mall. So we're online. We're in brick and mortar locations. So come check us out.
Thank you so much, both of you, again. I really, really appreciate it. You all go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you again so much. And we really appreciate you all being members of M4MM. You are the best example of us. So thank you for being here and thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Thank you so very much, y'all. Hey, folks, it's that time. I'm sorry. I know I don't want to end it for you, but we will be back. I promise. Find us next week. We will be back. I'm sorry, not next week, next month. Find us next month, fourth Saturday of the month. We usually do it at 11:30, but I like this 11 o'clock hour. I think I might move along with this. But thank you again to everyone that came today. If you're in New York City, please come by Tokativity today. Their event is at Work and Roll. We are in Manhattan, Southern Manhattan. Please, y'all, come on down and see us. And if you, because Black Buddha's here. Black Buddha's here today. Yay. So if you're here in town, please come visit us. I'll see you at the Pride Parade tomorrow. Thank you again to everybody that joined us today. Health is Wealth will be back next month. Same time, same back channel. Join us on all of our social media platforms. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn every fourth Saturday of the month. And if not, you can't meet us here, then make sure you meet us at one of our other live programmings that we offer free. Thanks again to Work and Roll for having this space for us. We really appreciate Tokativity, Tribe Tokes, and Canadiva for inviting us today. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great